Hey guys, it's Rebecca Mara here, and I wanted to talk a little bit today about unconditional faith in different divine qualities or just different energetic qualities of their purest form, such as truth or faith or devotion or beauty. And I mostly want to talk about the unconditional aspects of these traits and their ability to heal old patterns and old consciousness patterns that feel really real. So one thing that when we have any kind of consciousness or any kind of problem or hurt or wound or anything that we're suffering with constantly, there's a particular belief in the wound itself. And I know this might sound a little bit funny, so hear me out. So if I have been a victim of something, so let's say we had a client come in yesterday and she said that her sister was really cruel to her, and that was her wound. It was like constantly trying to gain her sister's approval, and that she could never have the love that she felt like she needed and deserved. And then it played out in her relationships and kept going on and on. So when we tune into the energy of that or the frequency of that, the body mind, meaning the nervous system, brain, all the images, the sensations, it believes that she can't get the love that she needs. And that feels more real than anything else especially when it's a core wound of ours. So if you can identify one of your core wounds, so maybe it's like, I'm not enough, or I can't have anything good, or I'll be abandoned, something like that. If you can identify what your core wound is that sort of shapes your relationships and your life and affects your daily life sometimes, what we do is we identify that wound. So in this one, hers might be like, I can't ever get the love that I want. And we need to relax from the prefrontal cortex, so from the part of the brain that's witnessing and observing and analyzing. We need to relax that part and start to let it recede so that we, the being, can move forward. And then when we do that, we detach from the identification with something that feels more like a reality than love or truth or beauty or something like that. So we start creating a little bit more space between that reality and that belief and our current experience. We start to kind of recede from that and become curious and open our awareness toward the opposite, which would be, it could be either a frequency or a replacing belief. But for something like, I can't get the love that I want, what we do then is we tune into a state of unconditional, unshakable love, like a powerful field of love, whereas the field of love before probably felt kind of weak. Instead, we're tuning into a really powerful field of love and teaching the mind-body to receive it. And in order to do that, we do have to create space from our known reality. So we need to almost get into an altered state of consciousness to imagine what that field would be like. So from there, it's nice to request some assistance from the divine to help carry and like really anchor that frequency, and to help teach our nervous system to receive it. And it can't be done in a state where the ego is very present or very active. It has to be in much more of a receptive state. So do it after meditating, or just you need to get yourself into a really receptive state and teach your body mind how to receive that frequency as though it was real. So it takes imagination. And it also takes a little assistance. What you might want to tune into also is the pure frequency. So this is like not the attached frequency, which is like, if I had that, it would be like, oh, like it's not over the top kind of, it's like, it's the pure divine frequency of what you're wanting. So for her, it would be, she wanted to be loved and appreciated by her sister. So what she wanted was to be seen. And what she wanted was to feel her significance or her preciousness in her sister's eyes. So what you do is you contact that original wound in its sensitivity. So we're working with the most innocent part of the self. It's that original little child before we get strong, before we get capable, and before we become independent, where it's like, oh, I'm not going to get that, so I'm just going to seal this off and get smart or strong in this other direction, or I'm going to control things so I don't have to deal with it. We want to go to the original innocent child's heart underneath and bring that divine love to that wound, and it to soak it in, to like take as much time as possible to keep growing the capacity and pushing the edges to your ability to receive that kind of love. And there's something really beautiful, because once we start to anchor in that frequency where unconditional love, like existing in a state of unconditional love where we are receiving it, it's part of our beingness. When that starts to become more real to us than our trauma, then you know you're winning. And that takes a lot of discipline and willpower. So that means, like, if I'm in a situation and I notice that I start slipping into, I don't think they're gonna accept me, or I don't think I'll be loved or received here, and I start sinking into my victim consciousness, in that moment there's a choice point to go, no, I remember that I can exist in the field of unconditional love that's always available to me. And in that moment, you reject the illusion of the victimhood consciousness, or of a sense that you can't have the love that you want. And in return, in replacing that, is the belief in the field of unconditional love. So it's a wild belief. It's unconditional belief. It's unstoppable, unshakable. And this is the kind of like warriorship that we need to practice all day long, where in the moment we notice the consciousness or the feeling we start sinking into, and we notice that it's attached to a belief in that consciousness. And from there, you get to bring in something really different. The one that I've been enjoying playing with the most lately is, you could do faith, you could do trust, you could do devotion, you could do innocence, purity, any of those like strong qualities, like peace, safety, support. And I've been enjoying faith the most, where it's like, if I notice a negative thought or a negative emotion or consciousness that seems really familiar to me and I start falling into it, instead I like to start meeting it from my most innocent heart with a radical faith that is unshakable. And my energy field just lights up like a beam. It's amazing when I'm in that space, or when I allow that. It's like this beautiful, it's like existing in this beautiful beam of light that feels more like truth than most of our ordinary thinking and consciousness. And it's amazing. The big benefit of this is that it will start to replace illusion, and it'll start to replace anything that would get between you and God. So this is really powerful work. So I suggest picking your core wound and getting clear on that because it's your common pattern, and to start bringing in the unconditional frequency with divine support, like really anchored in the level of divine truth. And continue to get your system to trust it. So you're going to have to be innocent and vulnerable again, but you're leaning into beauty. You're saying yes to life. You're saying, I believe in a field of energy, whether it's love or truth or light, that is more powerful than anything else. And I get to decide what has that power. And it's a big deal. So I suggest trying that practice every day, every single day, for at least 5 minutes, and do it with all your might, do it with all your strength. The beauty of it is that you get to show up in a way that you never have before, and it's gorgeous. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you really enjoy this practice. Thank you. Bye.